Hello and welcome to another day of StarLadder. It is Season 6, it is day number 9. It is a day full of QPAD Red Pandas. We're going to be seeing 3 matches of them today. And the first game they have is up against iCCup, and we'll see how they do with a couple of stand-ins because, as you might know, the official roster is only 3-man strong right now. And one of those 3, namely Sing Sing, is actually on his way back home, and he actually yesterday tweeted that he would not play for a week. So might have some more games played without him. But luckily, they have also got Webpas as a coach, and he is going to be the 3rd member of QPAD. So tagged up as QPAD Webpas, making his first appearance, at least for me, for a professional stream. And of course, we had him in the Staff Cups. But Dexter and Smogulik there as well, stand-ins very regularly. And for the matches, for the first 2 matches of the day, I'll be joined by Basskip. Later on, I'll be joined by Minnie. But first, Basskip, welcome to the broadcast.
Hey Sheever, nice to be here, and yeah, lots of QPAD today. Looking forward to see how this lineup does. Though Waga, he's on the ball, he knows what he's doing. iCCup, I think they pretty much always pick or ban Bat, so yeah, it looks like he's on the ball. Hopefully he'll be able to lead this ragtag bunch sort of through. But as we talked about before, you know, they're not maybe as ragtag as they first appear.
No, they're all players that we know that, like. Of course, Wagamama, Jarex, don't need to talk about those. Dexter has been standing in for a lot of different teams very often. And now one of the things that is very important to note there, because standing in for a team is not easy. I mean, you're coming into a team that has communication that you have to adjust to. And, you know, you're kind of like the new kid on the bunch. And it's if you are able to adapt real fast, then you make a good stand, and apparently he makes a good stand, and same thing goes for Smogulik here, as we know that he is a competent player as well.
Yeah, for sure, and you're right. You come in as a stand-in, you're at the bottom of the pecking order. You know, if you're used to calling the shots, that's not the case at all. So you need to be ready to adapt. You know, need to be ready to, I guess, also stand up and say, look, guys, I screwed up. I read that play wrong. I'm sorry. You know, I'm not used to being in the team. But yeah, as you said, they've stood in for teams before. It should be fine. Looking forward to some good Dota. It's best of 1 Dota, you know. Anything can happen. But iCCup already off to a pretty aggressive pushing start with this Lone Druid and the Keeper of the Lights. So
yeah, we've got the Wisp, the Nyx, Assassin, Life Seer, and Bedrider banned out. But indeed, iCCup, do you think they're preparing for a Phantom Lancer?
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of PL plus Lone Druid, because then you end up with an offlaner that you're waiting for the entire game, and if the enemy team is strong enough and competent enough to run an aggressive tri lane against you and stop the Phantom Lancer farming, then there's not a whole lot that the Lone Druid can do to come and help out that try. And QPAD, I'm interested to see that they're going to pick up a Jakiro here, given that, I mean, Jirax, his hero of heroes, the Leshrac was still there, and Shadow Demon plus Leshrac, we all know how powerful that is, but yeah, going to pick up a Jakiro, so this looks like they're tri-lane already, and we've been seeing more of Alchemist lately, so
yeah, what we saw yesterday a game of QPAD Red Pandas, and Wagamama was actually playing also a support, and Waga was the one playing the Leshrac, with Jarex playing the Shadow Demon, so I'm thinking Jarex is going to play the Shadow Demon here as well, and I'm not quite sure what the roles of the other players are going to be. We know that Webpas has been playing mid in the Staff Cups a lot. So he could be taking on that role. Smogulik and Dexter can adjust real easy, and I'm thinking Dexter as a solo offlane perhaps, and Smogulik maybe a farmer, and then Wagamama still as a secondary support, trying to make a lot happen on the map. But it is all open for grabs. We don't know what they're going to do, and that is something that QPAD can use against iCCup, because iCCup also doesn't know who can play what and who is going to be going for what, so you only have to ban out against lineups. You can't really ban out against players, so to speak, as we know that a lot of people do that. You have to turn on your microphone inside the game.
Is it not working again?
It's not
working.
working.
It's... Testing. No, it looks like it is.
Okay.
It wasn't for the first little bit, but it looks like it is now. So I'll get confirmation maybe in another minute.
2 minutes.
And we'll see. Another 2 minutes? Yeah.
Wait, 2 minutes.
And I'll double check. Yeah.
Yeah, I like seeing this. I mean, I was saying you can't ban out heroes against players if you don't know what they play. iCCup still banning out the Kunkka, even though there's no Sing Sing there. And even though the Alchemist is already picked up as probably the carry for QPAD. And interesting to see that they still don't want to be facing that. We've got the Gyrocopter banned out by QPAD. We had iCCup not going for the Phantom Lancer, luckily for us, but going for the Magnus, so having some mid-game fighting potential. And, well, they missed their carry, and that's something that QPAD can ban out. They also miss a secondary support with a disable, and Rubik is therefore the one to get banned out. With a Darkseer, a long laner, on the side of iCCup, removed from the pool.
The one thing for QPAD's lineup is that I mean, I immediately said, okay, that's their tri lane, but there's a little bit more flexibility there than I guess, you know, you sort of see initially. We've been seeing Shadow Demon being moved slowly towards, you know, a little bit of a mid-roll. I think that's really where IceFrog intended him to be when he was first released, but he's so powerful as a support. But we've been seeing CTY, you know, for example, and Vici running him as a mid, and Alchemist can be run as a solo mid as well, especially if you think you're going to be up against the Magnus. He actually does quite well, and we saw that. I guess it is more of an SEA thing to see the solo mid alch, but we've seen Rattlesnake recently running some solo mid alch rushing into a mech, so that's unusual. But QPAD, there are still options there as far as mixing these lanes up a little bit.
Yeah, we still have a lot of supports in the pool as well for iCCup, because they just banned out the Bane, which is great because I said, you know, they lack disables, but yeah, we still have Leshrek in the pool, still have Lina in the pool. Of course, no real setup, so apart from an RP or maybe a Lucky Entangle. But yeah, we'll see. Indeed, like you said, QPAD, their lineup could be very open. I mean, if we see it now, you think, oh, tri-lane, but yeah, all of the heroes, we have seen every single one of these heroes, even Jakiro, as a solo mid-roll at some point. So anything is possible here still, as the Nature's Prophet is the last one to get removed. And as people might have noticed already, iCCup is lacking a bit of bonus time without having used it because they were a bit late to this game, so they got 50 seconds bonus time removed from their pool. But luckily for them, QPAD is making sure that they use a lot of their bonus time, so they're giving iCCup in that way also a bit of extra time.
Yeah, and I mean, QPAD, there definitely has to be a little bit more deliberation here when you've got the stand-ins. One thing that I did want to bring up, and I'm not sure if it's necessarily going to play out this way, but you know, it would be nice if obviously the players that have played together more often would be in the tri lane, and you know, the situation where you require that little bit of extra coordination, and then hopefully get the stand-ins who may not necessarily have that same level, perhaps on the solos. I mean, Dexter and Small Gully definitely flexible enough, but I mean, Dexter's known to play with Waga, and he's played with Merlini and, you know, that little group, so I think they probably know what's going on there. So
yeah, I think so too. I mean, if you're, like we already said, if you're playing with stand-ins, communication is extra important because you don't normally talk to the people, you don't normally know the synergy of the players, which I mentioned yesterday as well, as we actually got it proved right on, like, the synergy between two supports is very important, especially if you have a Leshrek Shadow Demon combination. You have to know when and what you're gonna be doing and how you're gonna be moving, which is why, for example, for QPAD, we know that Mini and Jarex have often trained together just with the two of them, just to get that synergy completely right. And if you then all of a sudden are playing with stand-ins, you have to still get that synergy right, but you can't really rely on the other person knowing what they're gonna be doing. You have to communicate better to just know what you're gonna be doing and have to discuss everything up until detail. And we see an Ogre Magi.
Oh, okay. So the idea here is you're gonna Bloodlust and empower the bear, and that's just it's not a pretty sight, I have to admit, once you get that going. And they can pretty much pick up whoever they want as that remaining carry as well, because there's just enough damage buffs that what they do individually doesn't really matter, you know, too much. They can pick up somebody who's relatively low damage, and they're going to be beefed up by Empower and Bloodlust the whole game.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I see. I don't mind the pickup too much. They needed the lockdown. Ogre obviously has some pretty significant downsides in terms of often being fogged during night because his cast animation on his stun is kind of long and things like that. But with the Keeper of the Light to help him out in terms of mana and whatnot, he should be fine this game. And QPAD gonna pick themselves up a Storm.
Yeah, so that's their mid. I don't think we're gonna be having that many surprises in terms of lanes. Could be having a safe lane Clock, but I'm kind of expecting Alchemist just on a safe tri lane and Clockwork on the off lane and Storm mid, just to be just a bit standard. I'm really hoping that iCCup is gonna pick something up that I've seen yesterday, for example, and we've seen it a lot more. The bear with a BKB. Now that was a sight for sore eyes. It was
The
it was
BKB bear.
a BKB bear. It is like, it's already a huge bear to begin with, but having a BKB and then also having a bloodlust on it, I would like to see that. I really would. We have got the Luna picked up last, so that's gonna be their tri lane. Lone Druid probably on the off lane, Resolution mid on Mag, and you know that's probably a fairly simple lineup. And in terms of who's gonna play what for QPAD, gonna be waiting until we actually jump ourselves into the game, because we know that they are actually also known for still swapping around a bit after the game has already started, so we can't really say too much of it just yet. But yeah, we're waiting for the last two heroes to be picked up. Looks like two might have been a bit AFK while the draft was going on, Jerix and Smukulik. But there we have it, and there we go. So inside this game, Season 6, StarLadder, day number 8. First match of the day, QPAD Red Pandas taking on iCCup, and we'll see which one of these two teams is going to be the victorious one. On the side of QPAD, we'll have QPAD Wepas, that is, farming on the Alchemist, Jerix on the Jakiro, Smogulik will play the Shadow Demon, and on the Storm Spirit it is going to be Wagamama, so he'll be on the mid lane, and top lane will be off lane Dexter on his Clockwork.
Awesome. And over on iCCup, heading towards bot, we've got Mag playing the Lone Druid. On mid, we've got Resolution playing the Magnus, just a standard bottle rush setup for him. For support, it's going to be Ogre, played by We Just Zik. Always When to Fly is going to be on Keeper of the Light. And last but certainly not least, we've got Jackal playing the Luna. So looks like, yeah, lane sort of as you would expect to start things out. And yeah, I just don't think we're in for any huge surprises as far as how these lanes play out. The one thing I'm going to mention right off the bat is that hopefully Mag is going to be able to get maybe 1 or 2 early stacks up on the Ancients, just so that they can clear them out later with the Luna. But that's probably a secondary objective for him if he can't get some pulls and stuff running. So off-lane Lone Druid on the dire side, it's nicer than it sort of is on the Radiant.
Yeah, because it's going to be a game where not that much will happen early on, unless we're going to see a smoke, which is something that QPAD often does fairly early. But Wagamama is a Storm Spirit, won't be able to really do anything that active until he's level 6. Magnus, same story, once they get level 6, then goes for RPs. We do have a Clockwork on the offlane who is basically forced to stick on that offlane because he cannot go into that jungle, so we'll see him maybe create some action if whether he wants it or not. Probably he doesn't want it, but yeah, he is definitely a target to watch out for. And we have Mag, of course, Lone Druid. If he cannot get those pulls off, which he might not, depending on how aggressive QPAD is going to be with trying to stop it from happening and trying to kill off that bear before he does anything. But if he cannot get those pulls off, we're probably going to be seeing him going into the jungle, leaving the bottom lane open for a while. And that will leave, the supports to try to be the ones to make something happen on the map for the first blood. Because on paper, nobody should die apart from rotations.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. The majority of the matchups, it's not going to be early deaths, unless somebody really gets caught out. I think both offlaners have the potential to die, and then mid, Mag's kind of tanky, but also I think there could be a kill mid, depending on how aggressively Waga and Resolution end up playing it, and what sort of runes they end up getting as well. I mean, if somebody manages to grab themselves a DD or something like that, we might see a kill. And especially Storm before level... I mean, if Mag can beat him to level 6, then there's definitely a chance of him getting a kill there.
Yeah, but I mean, like, before level 6, because indeed, like I mentioned, level 6 is going to be the one that they want to have, and in theory it should be a wash, in theory it should be even, because both want to have that level 6 rather than trying to go for kills early on. Unless, of course, we're seeing the supports go active. And then we have the difference between the support combinations. We have got QPAD with the Shadow Demon and the Jakiro. They already have a smoke in their inventory. These two supports can be very aggressive. On the other side, it is a Keeper of the Light, who in theory cannot be that aggressive. We Just Sick, also Ogre Magi, not that great of a ganker, purely because his stun is such a short duration. And no follow-up stun, no follow-up disable as well. So the rotation should, in theory, come from QPAD first. But we'll find that out as the horn sounds, so we are going to be having level 1, level 0, minute 0 rune. It is a haste rune. And it will be going to Jarex once he is picking that up. Mag will see that happening. He is already having his bear positioned at a place where he thinks it's safe. Let's see how effective he can rotate that bear to try and pull some creeps. Oh, there he goes. Let me finding some good look. Look at that block. Look at the block. Oh my god. That block just made Mag's life hell. He is still gonna be stopping the pool from happening or stopping the creeps from spawning, but that is something that you do not want to see when you're playing the Lone Druid. He got one ranged creep. Purely because
and the problem with getting the range creep as well is that it's actually gonna start pulling the lane towards QPAD. So yeah, he's gonna go for a second wave, and hopefully he'll be able to get this one. But the problem is that look, Shadow Demon is just gonna be able to pull the neutrals around and maybe stop it.
Maybe not.
No, maybe not. He's got this. He's got this down. He's got some tangos as well. So
the bear makes sure that he blocks the 1 minute pool as well. 1 minute spawn. That's quite nice.
Yeah, really nicely done by Mag so far.
Unless the bear dies.
Unless the bear dies. But I mean, he loses only about a quarter of the HP. Typically for that first pull, you can often lose, 3/4 of the bear's life. So does a really nice job. And yeah, blocking that camp a second time, preventing the spawn and preventing the creeps being aggroed on was a really nice move. Especially because the bear has a much lower aggro priority than the neutral creep. So yeah, they get pulled off pretty much right away.
Yeah, and I guess in a way, I mean, it's not too bad that he's now got 2 range creep rather than just 1 wave with 1 range creep. Because those range creep will push the lane out a bit faster, and we'll make sure that Mag we'll make sure that Mag is a bit sad, perhaps, because he is getting chased hard. They wouldn't want to chase past the tier 2, but they are going to be picking up all the creeps, making sure that Mag is going to have a tough time. And so far, so good, I'd say. Wepa sitting on 8-4-1. We have got on the top lane, of course, the one that we can compare him with. It is Jackal sitting on 10-4-2, so slightly ahead, but that's the result of the pooling and the stacking. As Jarex is going to be getting a bit of harassment here from Mag. He takes 2 creeps with it. Nope. And then you go back. No more vision. And that's a dive. A big dive, actually. They won Dexter. Illuminate won't hit him, though. He is safe out of this one. But both lanes diving in between tier 2s and tier 1s right now. On the bottom and top lane. No problem.
Yeah, they're both being very aggressive. So we'll see where the first blood in terms of towers go. Though it looks like IC want this pretty early. Jackal, if they're really going to commit to this, hopefully picks up a Bazzi and just leaves it turned on, and they'll be able to use that if they really want it. But so far so good. A point that I didn't actually get to bring up earlier on mid, and I guess this is something that most people might know, but in this ranged versus melee matchup, so long as Resolution doesn't leave the lane too much and he stays even on denies, then he will get level 6 before Waga does, because obviously ranged heroes, when they get denied, they get a much lower portion of experience than a melee hero does. I think it's half overall, so yeah, he just needs to stay even there.
Yeah, for now it is 19-4-3 upon Wagamama's Storm Spirit, with sitting on 13-4-2 on the Magnus. So in terms of last hits, Wagamama slightly ahead, but that's to be expected. I mean, that should be happening. In terms of levels, fairly even. So, like you said, should be trying to keep it even.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to who wants to leave the lane and who spies a juicy rune, because they've each got vision over one rune spot, so they're gonna know where it is, but not what it is. And so that's going to influence the decision making a little bit there. So as we saw iCCup take this first tower top, it's a little bit of space for Dexter, that they immediately pull the wave and start to pull it back, so he has to be in a slightly more aggressive position to be able to get any farm. And that's a tough time for him, though he is already up to level 3, so doing a pretty good job there.
In the meantime, we do have the smoke going off QPAD, minute 4, and they need to go to stop Resolution probably. Even though we saw Drung on the minimap earlier to go to the bottom lane, so I guess that's where they want to go. Mag sitting behind his tier 2 though, or next to his tier 2 rather. Hastrun on the bear. And they already scout him out. I think he did see them. Yeah, the bear is gonna see them. Hey guys, welcome to the party. Disruption not gonna happen. He plays the ward and he backs out. Well, that is the smoke wasted. I'm thinking maybe he had more luck if he was gonna go to Resolution, but I guess not. Oh, he's sticking around though.
We'll see. Mag has cut himself a cute little path in these trees, so it's gonna actually be a little bit difficult.
Timing of Jarex was a bit bad, and they are gonna try to go for this. They have gotten RP up, or almost actually. And Disruption is gonna at least prevent Mugulik from going down, and Jarex dodges the score as well into the high ground. Ice Path stops everybody, but Jarex in a lot of trouble, getting blocked by the bear. Wagamama to the rescue. There goes a stun, Soul Catcher up on Mag. He is still level 2, so he has to be careful not to go out of position too much, but it looks like both teams will be backing off here and will be playing it safe rather than trying to go for that desired first blood. Actually, level 2 also up on Regis Zig.
Yeah, and you can see he's already going for the Bloodlust build, realizing that he's not going to get too many levels at this game, and he's really just a buff bot for the Luna and the bear this game. Dexter, is he in trouble? There's going to be another beam in a second. It might go down here.
Dogs might help out, but one loosened beam will do the job. Not even needed. Jackal picks it up.
Yeah, so Jackal, I think he got the tower last hit as well, so he's off to an amazing start in terms of both in terms of CS and just in terms of overall gold. So good job there, slowing down the clockwork, fantastic. He's not going to get level 6 anytime soon. He's actually going for a very defensive build with the rocket flare pickup, so even once he does reach level 6, he's not going to have too many points in battery assault, and it's not going to be a huge amount of damage. Hopefully he'll start picking up battery assault points from this point forward, though we'll see.
We actually got Weppos going for a Hand of Midas. It is complete right now, so great. It's a very greedy build from this Alchemist. He really is aiming for a late game, or at least aiming for Wagamama to be able to buy him enough time to get his items up. And Wagamama, he hasn't been really leaving his lane just yet, apart from trying to help out his teammates earlier on in the Roche Pit, or near the Roche Pit rather. But he is level 6 right now, so this should be the time for him to maybe try and rotate, maybe try and pick up some kills, but then again, where is he gonna rotate to? And they don't have any vision up on the map either at the moment, apart from on the bottom lane. So it's tough to find a good target for Wagamama to take down right now.
Yeah, they are doing a good job of stacking up some neutrals, so they've got farm banked up for later, but it's not having a huge immediate impact right now. And I mean, QPAD, they're the earlier game lineup. Alchemist isn't really, I mean, okay, he is a fairly late game carry, but he brings the late game to himself. You know, just by farming so quickly and getting 6 slotted in the time that he does, and oh, this smoke, is it going to find anyone?
I think it is, because there's no way
Jarex
that
is in trouble.
QPAD knows that this is going on. They have got the RP, they want to have it on two persons, but they of course will favor Weppos. And here they go, RP used for that, and they will take him down.
Man, just nothing that Weppos could have done there to survive that one, so that's a little bit unfortunate. QPAD, they are going to put Dexter on mid, so he's going to be able to get some levels there, like the decision. However, Wagamama just rotating around, not going to be able to find anything with that one, so that's a little bit unfortunate, though it is still early days as far as the game is concerned. But and Jackal, it's a pretty greedy build from him as well, picking up an HOTD, so he's going to be probably using that to stack up the Ancients. Yeah, I've already got one stack going, and this probably means that iCCup try and defend the bottom tier 1 just a little bit more heavily, using the Keeper of the Light. And QPAD might have their suspicions aroused by that, and you know, have the presence of mind to be able to ward off the Ancients, though we'll see.
Yeah, for
and
now
with
it
this
seems
early
like
gold lead, iCCup can just de-ward it.
Yeah, I think that QPAD is for now just trying to just hold on to what they have, rather than going aggressive still. We do have an Invis Rune Resolution standing guard here in the mid lane. But the only one nearby was Dexter, but everybody leaving mid lane, they are still having very minimal coverage for wards, so basically for them, everybody is missing from the map. This is a dangerous time for them, and surprisingly, Weppos still heavily farming top. Should be really careful though, but that is the ward that they do have, and they now have new wards here as well. So I guess that's making farming a bit easier for Weppos here on this bottom lane. But it is, I mean, it is QPAD aiming for that late game, not really trying to go for much aggression right now, and I guess that could be the right call. They don't want to be walking into an RP, they don't want to be walking into a Eclipse, but the Luna late game, I'm not sure if they really want to go up against her if she had also as much free farm as Weppos is having, with Weppos being shut down a bit.
Yeah, I feel like the window for QPAD is, so the Luna and the Alchemist are both going to be getting stronger and stronger and stronger, but QPAD sort of needs to make a move before the bear is too much of a nuisance, because if Mag just has the opportunity to get his armlet up, to get an AC for example, and then, you know, into something like a basher, then that you know, that lockdown is just going to nullify all of the farm that Wepas is working towards, because there's just not really anything that he can build that's going to prevent him from being locked down, you know, by an entangling, bashing bear. So there's a window of opportunity for QPAD to find, and I think they really need to hit it. Again, make full use of the fact that Alchemist is going to have 4 or 5 big items as quickly as he does. But for now, they're just kind of waiting, and that is giving space to both the Luna and the bear.
Yeah, at least they're blocking the Ancient Camp now, as you already suggested they should be doing, as we have got an RP. Oh, it's wasted! Resolution thought he got Wagamama, but he just had to walk back slightly and dodged it. Well, that buys time for QPAD, and maybe opens up some aggression possibilities for them. We do have a smoke up standing nearby from Jerax and Smogulik. Disruption is all that it takes, but there's gonna be 4 people here mid with Jackal standing by. Is iCCup gonna give QPAD the time that they want? Because this looks like 5-man push, like saying, yeah, we're ready. Let's go.
Yeah.
And hook shot in, there goes Dexter. Ice Path is gonna miss actually. Dual Breath still goes through, and Jackal, he just got killed off. Nice pickup for QPAD. Overextension from iCCup. Underestimating QPAD there to be ready for that.
Yeah, and I think just iCCup, they came up onto the high ground and they just thought, yeah, there's no way QPAD are gonna try and stop us. Oh, TP's bot, Wepas, who's the closest? No, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
TPs are way too long. The stunner is all the way. Yeah, stunner TP's at the front, but no mana and a very long TP. So
yeah, that was slightly wrong timing. Everybody said TP, and the person without a stun TP's first. Yeah, that's not gonna work out. First and furthest, rather, as Resolution just screws himself away from a potential dangerous situation with Wagamama in the mid lane. And counter wards going on for iCCup here. There we go.
Yeah, so that is the advantage of just having that little bit of extra gold in the supports. They can afford to do this. And, oh, they get the deny off in the tower as well. Losing that tower is kind of significant because QPAD can now come and be a bit of a nuisance over these ancients. Having realized that they're not going to be able to block it directly, they can probably just place a ward up on this hill and be able to just spot it and see when they're going for it to hopefully be able to interrupt it later on. But at least it shows that QPAD know what's going on. And, you know, hopefully they can, within the next, probably it's going to be about maybe 4 or 5 minutes, maybe hopefully come up with a plan to be able to interrupt that. Because that's a lot of farm for the Luna to be able to just grab for free.
Yeah, if Alchemist gets a bit more items, he should be able to take it as well. But he needs more items before he can take it safely. And Luna can, of course, with her bouncing blades maxed out, can just take it right then and there. And so we do have another rotation coming up from iCCup. This time they leave Jackal at home. Jackal is going to continue farming, but they smoke up with 4. And it is going to be Wepas once more that they want to have. Wepas, who is completely isolated by himself. Well, he had just some company from the nice Donkey Courier, but he's going to have company that he doesn't really want to have unless they totally go the wrong way.
Well, I mean, QPAD suspected exactly what was going on.
Then it's Ancients time.
Yeah, so they've got everybody grouped up, they can probably just take them. But QPAD showing really good, just suspecting the movement from iCCup with the 4-man smoke. You kind of have to. So as soon as we saw that smoke, as soon as they got sort of past the bot rune, there was immediately pings on top of Wepas from Jerax. So sort of suspected what was going on there, and they're smoked themselves. Oh,
we see it drawing. We know where they want to go. They're gonna be finding Resolution first. If Resolution just went for a solo RP up on Wepas, hook in! The cogs, they hit on 3. Ice Path going through Macropire. It is Jackal, Ouija-Zik, and Resolution that all go down on the cost of Wepas. Not too bad. Demonic Purge up and always want to fly. Blinding Light trying to lay himself from going down. Ice Path misses. Is he gonna be able to get away from this? It looks like he is, but 3 people down under which Jackal was one of them, and that was a brilliant fight coming off from QPAD. A shame that Wepas had to be in those cogs as well, with Eclipse, of course, helping to kill him off. But, good fight.
Yeah, and a very nicely, I guess, a luckily timed fight, but also just, you know, it's a consequence of a couple of things that have built up. So, had the Macropyre not been there for Jerax, I think the fight goes completely differently. I mean, 3 heroes cogs into a Macropyre was a death sentence there. That was great for QPAD. And fortunately, Jackal wasn't quite level 11. If he'd gotten to the stack a little bit earlier, he would have had that second point up in Eclipse, and it would have been a lot more damage. So that could have gone worse, but nice for QPAD. They're now leading by 1 kill. Unfortunately, yeah, Wepes does die, so he gets set back a little bit further. Though maybe we'll just see a Shadow Blade from this, from this Claymore, and hopefully he'll be able to be a little bit active with his team and just start picking up kills instead of farming towards the gold, because iCCup are just ganking him non-stop.
Yeah. And of course, I mean, he did die 3rd of the 4 that died, so he got experience of 2. So I guess that's quite nice to have. And yeah, that was actually a triple kill for Jarex, of course. Yeah, Macropire MVP, and he only just got that. I mean, yeah, he's level 7 now, but that's only because of the kills he had. So good effort from him, and just, you know, just in time, I'd say. As Wepes is just going to be trying to continue on the bottom lane with that ancient stack. Apparently, Magnus. Well, he didn't participate in it, but he did manage to get himself some extra gold in the mid lane. He's got himself a Blink Dagger, so we were talking about aggression already coming out from iCCup. Now they can be even more aggressive, and this is now something that QPAND wants to have. They smoke up again, they hook up again. It's always on the fly alone this time, though. And I mean, he'll still die, but it's just it's just a Keeper of the Light. Ice Path, up on We Just Sick. Is there a follow-up? There is a Demonic Purge trying to help out. Jackal is going to be the one they want, though. Is there a Vortex? No mana, but Mama Macropire, though. And Ice Path, Jarex dominating. iCCup losing 2 heroes, with QPAND Red Pandas getting away with all of their lives.
Yeah, that was really, really aggressive there, but Resolution ends up, I guess, deciding that they just didn't have enough damage for him to throw out the RP. I think he also got clipped on the edge of the Macropire as well, on the moment where he probably would have gone for a 3-man, so
yeah.
Nice for QPAD, and that's a bunch more kills, and yeah, now more map control going their way, and they're honing in towards this timing window. The Lone Druid doesn't really have any items just yet. He's almost got the armlet picked up. Yes, Luna's got farm, but they've slowed her down a little bit, and I mean, Wepes is just going to be getting faster and faster. He's got his Shadow Blade now picked up, and you know, 1 or 2 more items, and QPAD, I think they have to start feeling we're at full strength, let's go do something before the Lone Druid is going to be too much of a nuisance. But yeah, definitely so far so good. Looking forward to seeing what else they can get out within the next maybe 5-6 minutes. Again, the Lone Druid is moving more quickly now with that armlet finally finished.
Yeah, we now with the Shadow Blade up on Wepes, and also the Chemical Rage sitting at level 2, they can try to go for very aggressive kind of ganking style with Wagamama Bull Lightning in, with Wepes scouting out with his Shadow Blade and try to find kills. But for now, this is 5-man all the way from iCCup as well. They're doing it right next to a ward from QPAD, though. And it's only 2 Ancients left. I guess that's something, so not really something that QPAD really wants to really try to compete them for. But they just spent 3 times here with 5 people, or 4 people at least, every single time. Took 2 fights over it, lost both fights, lost Jackal twice. And you're gonna ask yourself, was that ancient stack really worth it in the end?
Exactly. Is the time and the lives that they invested to get it worth what they got out? And I mean, maybe they came out positively, but not as well as they could have, being in lane and not dying. So, credits to QPAD for picking up those kills, and just they knew what iCCup wanted to do and intercepting them at the pass. And iCCup, interesting to see that they're still, I mean, okay, this is partially a product of QPAD's lineup. So normally what you would do is you'd say, okay, let's just send 2 heroes, we'll send the Coddle and we'll send somebody else, and we'll just defend any push that QPAD go for, because you've got Illuminate and you've got, maybe one other hero's spam, and that's it, the Magnus. But the fantastic thing between having the Clockwork and the Storm Spirit is that if Coddle is alone, then he's just going to get hooked, he's going to get jumped. He's going to die, and that's going to enable the push. So they have to send more heroes, and that's just a product of, the kill potential in QPAD's lineup. So they can't really stall forever, and I think Jackal and Mag should probably both have TPs ready, though. I think Jackal with the priority over Mag. He's still sort of in full farm mode for now.
And I mean, this is the big difference between the lineups that we see right now as well, because of course we know that there's one big core up on QPAD Red Pandas with the Alchemist being there, and 2 cores up on iCCup. And we see both of the cores of iCCup farming and the core of QPAD Red Pandas farming as well, and the rest is just sitting middle, waiting for that pending engagement, waiting for the first one to try and take the other one's tier 1 tower, with right now the double damage from the Wagamama helping out a lot. And it's iCCup that get backed out a bit. And we actually have got weapons around here, so he has stopped farming for a bit. He has got that Shadow Blade waiting for people to come around. There's no ward here behind the tower, though. They would go in completely blind, and Weapons decides it's probably safer just to farm. And that is what the rest of QPAD now also does. But yeah, it's two cores versus one still, and they still have that ticking time clock, that window of opportunity that you were talking about. They have to grab the advantage when they have it. Which is right now.
I think they're just waiting around for 1 or 2 more items. I think Waga's almost got... Okay, he's very, very close to his BKB.
Blink can score it. Some 3, 1 down, 2 down. A nice path up on Ouija Zik, but it doesn't matter. Dexter will still go down. That's the 2 standings that go down. Whoa. I think there was a bit of a misclick from Jackal. Just a bit of a victory eclipse.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Yeah, that was definitely a little bit...
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I was not watching mid. My mind was elsewhere.
Okay, well, Jackal just popped his eclipse when all his team were around, but nobody else. So
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't see the initiation.
Ah, okay. Well, he just got himself 2 kills. All good for resolution, and that is actually the opening for iCCup to go for Roshan. Or is it?
Well,
or
they
is
look
it
at
not?
it. Jackal's really indecisive. It's like, do I want Ancients? Do I want Roshan? Do I want Ancients?
Ancients.
Yeah, looks like the answer is just going to be Ancients. He does now have his BKB up, so going to be a lot less susceptible to exactly what we saw happen mid.
They want to get resolutions though, but he smells trouble and he blinks and scoored out of there, realizing that something was up. Spider senses tingling.
Yeah, sometimes the sound design is a little bit weird, and you can hear things that you shouldn't. So maybe that was it, but yeah, I think I just had to suspect that something was happening there. So QPAD kind of just wandering around mid. Waga, he's got his BKB finished. Yeah, so he's gonna buy that and get that shipped out. So that's gonna be a pretty big pickup for them. Again, I think they still need to get maybe 1 more item on the Alchemist, and then just try and go. Try and get these outer towers. You know, there's still a tier 1 top, there's still a tier 1 mid. They shouldn't be too difficult to get through, especially if they, you know, find opportunities, find a single pick-off, or, you know, just go whenever the RP is down. It's a great smaller window for them.
Yeah, with the 4-stop ready up on the well, 4-stop ready up on the clockwork as well. Of course, great item to help get your teammates out of cogs, get yourself out of the cogs, and leave people in there, as we saw earlier. If he could have 4-stop, for example, Wepas out of that 3-man cog, then he might have been able to survive. But yeah, this is just a very mobile item that can help just basically isolate a couple of people in a team fight and make sure that he can still fight with the rest of his team without him being stuck in cogs as well.
Yeah, and you can use it for damage as well. You can cog someone in and then 4-staff them, and they'll pop over the top and they'll take the mana burn on the way out. So it's a nice pickup on the clockwork, and it's some people's preferred item.
Yeah, we have a very big cat standing around here with potential to get bigger because he has a BKB. Jackal looks like he's looking for action. He kind of stopped farming. Are we gonna see a smoke up? Looks like we are, with the mechanism almost done up on Always Wanna Fly. And they actually resolution rotates again. Now he comes back for the smoke, so they're gonna look for a fight.
Yeah, and Mag has his Basher just now finished up as well. So iCCup hit a whole bunch of items all at the same time, and they're looking to make full use of it right now. They don't quite have the BKB up on resolution just yet, but that's, I mean, if they take a good fight, that'll be there shortly. But looks like Roshan Jarrett's actually the one to draw the circle there, I suspect, but are Wepas and Waga going to be able to do anything about it? They do have TPs, but there's not really anywhere.
The flare will scout it out, but this is going fast though.
Yeah, the Empower and the Bloodlust. But no,
they do run back. They're scared.
Yeah, they get scared by the flare, and they're going to back off. If Wepas shows himself top, that might just be a sign for iCCup to go back in.
Yeah, well, it looks like it is.
Okay,
Weapons
so he showed
does
himself
have a TP though. It's just only just off cooldown, and it looks like QPAD, they want to try to go in. The flare will scout it out again. Realize they're still busy. TP to the tier 2 from Wepas. Not sure if he'll be in time though. And the chemical rage is just run out, so he'll be walking in his normal speed. Nice ice path. Trying to delay it a bit, but Roshan will drop. Ball lightning in. Dyer gets all, and Wagmama turns on his BKB. He wants to go for Jackal, but is already out of mana and will be burned to death. Stun of Weapons lands on 2, but this is the exit for QPAD. They cannot go in without Wagamama. And Tangle up on Weapons. Of course there is. Sentry Ward already placed down just in case Shadowblade. He is gonna be skewered back. Is it gonna be enough? He is 4-staffed into safety. Dexter's 4-staffed, proven to be useful. And that is everybody out safe, unless Dexter is gonna get bashed by that bear. Hook shot into safety. There we go. Now everybody is safe. They lost Wagamama, they lost the Aegis. They lost the Roshan. But they don't lose more lives, and I think they get, you know, that's good for them. And maybe they can go in. Oh my god, they burned the Aegis. Flares, dual breaths, ice baths. That's all it takes.
Yeah, really nicely done. I mean, QPAD, we talked about them being a little bit ragtag, you know, team with stand-ins, but you know, good coordination, good team play. Dexter saves Wepas, and then Jerax saves Dexter, and you know, a little bit of coordination just between the nukes manages to bring down the Aegis as well. So not as big a victory as it really looked for iCCup. Though unfortunate that Waga doesn't quite get the Korok play.
Oh, they find Wagamama. They find Weapons though. He already turned on his chemical rage, but it doesn't matter. Eclipse and RP being used for that. But Necropie Ice Path up on 3. Wagamama already having to be going away from that one. BKB turned on Jackal as well. Jakiro goes down. Dexter gonna be stunned up here, as is. He should be fine. He has a 4-staff still as well. Wagamama fine as well, and they won't be able to get anybody unless Jackal is gonna be going down here. They find Dexter first though, multicast for the win, and that means no flares to pick off Jackal anymore.
Yeah, so I think Dexter was looking for the angle on the hook there, but couldn't quite get it. So Jackal again just barely able to slink himself away. But iCCup, I mean, it looked very even at the end of that Roshan, but with those 3 kills picked up, it sort of swings straight back in their favor, and Golden Experience will kind of reflect that at the moment as well. You know, have a bit of a spike and straight back towards the Dire.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, it all started with an Skewer up on Webpass. I'm kind of thinking he would have probably died anyway. They probably should have left him alone, even though it was the right position for a good Micropyre Ice Path. Jerax did that perfectly fine, but by now, the heroes are a lot more tanky than they were before, and it's still a level 1 Macropyre, so, you know, you can't really expect people to die from that alone, and with Wepas dead, you don't have any extra damage.
Yeah, and I just don't know if Wepas has been able to punch anyone this entire game. He's either been, you know, I think his best opportunity was when he was cogsed in, you know, with 3, but
yeah, but
I think that's been about the extent of it. I mean, the bear is just being such a thorn in his side this game.
Yeah, we do have experience graph after that fight dropping massively in favor of iCCup. It is going towards a 10k. Gold graph not that much yet. You can't blink inside the acid spray. Thank you, Resolution. And they're gonna be picking up We Just Dig, and Jackal turns on his BKB, but is it too late? It looks like it does. They do get him down. And all that because Resolution was awkward with a RP in the middle of nothing.
Yeah. Blink before RP Dota.
Yep,
So
that's how it goes.
It's a little bit unfortunate.
That is his second missed RP this game.
Luna might have to buy back here.
I think so too. They're just going up the high ground. And Chemical Rage wasn't even on for the start of that. Illuminate will fly through. Dexter trying to do something here. He has to be careful though. He is the one with the gem. We shouldn't go down. Web has his regen is not enough to stay alive through tower. So they back off, wisely so, but they prove that with one fight they can get up to the high ground and start just bashing on your tier 3. I mean, it's already down to 674 HP.
Yeah, so they get some good damage out. It wasn't going to be a buyback. There is still fortification available for iCCup, so I think they were fine there. But RP is still on cooldown for 45 seconds, and they're going out very aggressively right now. We'll see if they're going to be able to get done. Again, they can't have another. I mean, again, this game is still very close. They can't have another initiation. Well, another failed initiation like that. Though there is now a BKB up on Resolution, so that's gonna help out. I guess help out a little bit in those blink daggers getting put.
Yeah, because right now, I mean, that fight was won by QPAD only because of the mistake from iCCup.
Yeah,
and you can't always count on those mistakes. You have to count on Dexter's hooks in, who have been very on point though. I mean, they definitely have. You have to just, you know, go for that team fight when you think it's fit, and most importantly, not let yourself get caught out. by a team fight that iCCup initiates, because then you're far away from home, especially if Resolution gets the RP that he actually aims for.
Yeah, and I mean, credit to QPAD for taking that. I mean, they were in a position to be initiated on, so maybe that's a good position to be initiating from, you know, when the iCCup initiation fails. But they take the opportunity, you know, they seize it, they pick up those 2 kills, they get the tower, they get some damage on the tier 3, and you know, if they'd been feeling more timid after seeing that RP fail, you know, maybe they decide to back out. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. Webpass is gonna have another item up pretty soon. Wagamama, not a whole lot of item progression just yet. Oh, on the smoke.
Yeah, level 5 people. They leave the courier hanging where it was when we brought the smoke. So that might be something that QPAD could take advantage of if they find out that that's actually going on before iCCup does. But the smoke is on and the chase is on as well. And they smoke after a bunch of heroes that is not smoked, but they now see them. So this should be both teams knowing, or at least it should be QPAD knowing that that iCCup is smoked up. I mean, otherwise they would have seen people. They've drawn the minimap on the wrong place though. They drew it at the Ancients. So they might not be expecting them to come in right now, and they should be, because they come. They find Dexter first, pops the cogs, leaves the bear inside them. That's at least a bit of a nice thing there. Resolution looking for the perfect RP. Gonna only find Weapons, but that's something that he'll settle for. And this is the 2 main heroes killing our Weapons. He won't have any chance. Wagamama gonna get bashed. Gonna go down with one more hit. There he goes. Ice Path trying to do what he can. And Wepas, what is he doing? He is still alive! 33 HP! I really thought he was already dead, but he is gonna be able to walk away. Jarek's not so lucky. Dexter goes down. Smogulik, yeah, I think he's kinda dead as well. But Wepa's able to live. I already switched away from that fight because he had 2 BKB's heroes pounding on him very hard.
Yeah, I looked away as well. I honestly thought, okay, he's been RP'd, he's dead. You know, what chances are there of him getting out here? But he's a little bit tankier with that Reaver, so I guess just manages to slip out somehow. You know, God knows how. So a big fight for iCCup, a very awkward angle of initiation. QPAD, they jump in, but I mean, even the BKB now in Waga isn't enough for him to be able to initiate with impunity. You know, as we saw towards the end of the fight.
That bear.
Yeah, he just got cleaned up by the bear. It's kiting around Wepas, and it's also making life really tough for Waga. So
yeah, he actually bought back,
Entangle's
by the
too
way.
strong. Yeah, and he bought back. There wasn't any way that he was getting, you know, back to that fight in time. So that's a little bit unfortunate, and you know, maybe could have made some progress towards an item with that, or even just, you know, by virtue of having the gold and having the buyback. If iCCup push up onto the high ground, then, you know, you get a Storm Spirit buyback. It's worth so much more there than it is just buying back and, you know, obviously getting nothing done with it. But even buying back and having to, you know, run back to the fight, even having to use some of your zip just to get back within, you know, back into fighting distance, it's obviously less than ideal. So,
yep.
Yeah.
It's still
and with
a
the
very
iCCup
even game, though.
Yeah, still a very even game. iCCup, to their credit, they've got the gem back now, but QPAD had a couple of minutes with the gem, and they just didn't manage to get any D wards off. So
it was their
iCCup
gem to begin with.
Hmm.
Jarek's bought it.
Oh right, yeah.
So
yeah, that's Jarek's gem. So they didn't manage to get any D warding done. So iCCup, I mean, just place slightly more defensive wards, place the high ground wards. QPAD should be able to find them because, you know, Shadow Poison spam should find them, but iCCup do manage to maintain some map vision, and Roshan about to respawn in 1 minute. They've got RP back up, and
they've got each other's swords, gems, because Mogolik has got we just 6 gem.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So they've. I thought there was another gem. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, no, well, they have a gem. They well, they will be able to D-ward if they find them another smoke. And Wepas is gonna walk right into them. Pop your chemical rage and run, Wepas! He is gonna be skewered back. They really don't like him.
They're not a fan.
They're not a fan. Can he actually buy back? He just got a heart, so he cannot buy back. And this is a tough fight. If QPAD loses this, they might lose more than just a tier 3. So they have to play this very smart. Look at that Illuminate just bursting down those supports. Ice Path trying to delay things from happening. You have a Macropire to help out potentially as well. But the bear, you should be careful about the bear. Tier 2 tower will go down regardless. The question is, will iCCup try to go up the high ground now that Weapons is still dead? Or will they go for Roshan, who's back up again as well?
I think the safe play is just to go for Roshan. It looks like they're gonna back off. Really nice play from QPAD. They've got 3 force staffs. So Shadow Demon got bashed and entangled. He got double force staffed out. Then they, the bear turned his attention towards Dexter, and there was still 1 more force staff left to get him back to safety. So that's nice. We've got some progress. We'll almost get a mech picked up by Dexter. I would have liked to have seen this a little bit earlier, either on him or up on Jerax, especially with that triple kill that Jerax managed to pick up. I mean, that force staff could be a mech at this point, just a little bit of extra gold, but it's gonna be fine. It's a 35-minute mech. It's kind of slow, but it will be there if they're able to get a big pick off and then trying to push up onto the high ground. It would be a big deal against the Coddle. But yeah, it would have been nicer to see just that little bit earlier.
Yeah, now iCCup has got themselves an Aegis. Of course, last time when they had that, didn't really make that much of a difference. Jekyll in the end went down to a flare, of all things.
Yeah, an ice path and a flare.
An ice path and a flare, and they weren't able to do anything with their Aegis, but now they are, and I'm kind of thinking, push top lane, try to get up the high ground while you have that Aegis, and they might stand a very good chance. They should have the Assault Grass ready about now as well. Where is that bear? Yeah, Assault Grass is ready, they have that Basher, they just look really solid right now, and there's also your Maelstrom, so that is trouble for QPAD. Once they start pushing, they basically only have the Alchemist, and then now up against those 2 cores. The window that we're talking about, it's about to close.
Yeah. Well, if he procs Lightning, he can't proc Entangle. So picking up the Maelstrom actually slightly lowers the chance of Entangle, and maybe, maybe Wepas will have a slightly easier time. I mean, it's a fraction. It's a couple of percent, but yeah, I guess it's a cute interaction. Oh, QPAD. This is very aggressive.
They're gonna go for this. They're gonna go for Jackal first, but they find the bear. RP up onto the Wagamama and Wepas. They're gonna be in a lot of trouble. It is Clockwork that goes down first. He locks Jackal in cogs, but Jackal doesn't care. He can cast and hit from out of the cogs. Wepas running for his life. Gonna be Mana Leak. Is gonna be staying alive this time as well, though. Very low on HP. Resolution chasing him down with the H-Run, and he actually has got the gem, so nah, he should be fine. No, losing beam. Triple kill from Jackal, and that's 2 supports left alive for QPAD Red. That's a tier 3 gone, and possibly more.
5x for QPAD. There is a buyback on Waga. Are they trying to bait this a little bit?
Oh, Wepas. Will be stunning up on Mag. Gets entangled, gets loosened beam, gets bashed. Still wants Mag, finally gets him. That's a bear out of the way. That's the biggest difficulty that they had to overcome. And now Jackal is next. Need to get that stun. Channel it up, Wepas. Or not. Or channel it up for the next coming up. Yeah, there we go. Next coming up, Jackal. And he has still got his BKB. So Wepas will stun himself. And Jackal will be free to run. And that is a double kill still for Jackal with the 2 supports in the end going down. So it ended up being a team wipe. With 2 buybacks of the 2 carries, and that is I guess they're lucky that they didn't lose more than just 1 melee Rex, because they could have lost the game right there if they lost that secondary fight.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate they have to use those buybacks. I mean, it's buybacks for the Aegis, but that's that means that iCCup are now up in terms of still having buybacks, in terms of still having their hands on that gold. So golden experience. Gold still pretty close given the state of the game, though. QPAD have been farming pretty well, and Wepas staying up there. Obviously with the good this grade, but all of his items just aren't really doing that much. He's getting kited around non-stop in these fights.
Yeah, and even though when he hits hard and he hits good. Right now, it's not enough. And imagine that if you're trying to hit a target that has now just got a butterfly. So Jackal has got a butterfly. Yeah, exactly. If he wasn't hard enough to kill before, he is definitely hard to kill right now. And that is only one of the 2 cores. We saw Mag going down previous fight, though. I mean, that was a good thing. Having that bear no longer there to entangle and bash. But it took him a long time, and it took him a lot of HP points as well to get to that point. And so far, it is just Wepas that is doing that. I mean, he can't really expect help from Waga.
Yeah, exactly. And on that note, I mean, when QPAD went for that smoke and they ran up onto the high ground, the first hero that they saw was Mag, and they kind of just latched onto him. They threw everything that they had in his direction. He took about a quarter of his HP from Wepas just wailing on him in the free time that he got, but Resolution just popped his BKB, found the 2-man RP, and I don't know, there wasn't an easier target for QPAD to be able to run up to, again, because they are getting kited around so much, but focusing the lone druid himself is just not what you want to be doing in these fights. Because then the Luna is just killing you.
Nope. Tier 2 tower, that bear. Oh.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
The Empower Bloodlust Bear, it's absurd.
Oh, Jakiro's in a bit of a tough spot right now. He doesn't have a TP school, but he needs to be in his base. Wagamama is gonna TP there. Jakiro looks like Jerix wants to try to come in from behind. Nah. iCCup not gonna go for this time. They don't have an Aegis, I guess they don't feel that confident just yet. We now also have a basher up on Wepas. That's a really nice item pick up because now we can just try to bash the bear perhaps. Of course it goes through the BKB of Jackal. The question is he has to actually first hit the target of course before he can do that. But yeah, you're right. I mean he is keeping up with the farm. There's just not so many people that can help him afterwards. Like we see the net worth and the difference between the support from iCCup, Keeper of the Light. What was he doing there?
Shadow Demon was just trying to get a bit of farm. iCCup they smoked up. Resolution has a Hex, so yeah, you can. I think you can sort of. You can flush out the rest of the picture.
Yeah.
He just got exploded, effectively.
Yeah, it looks like
this
tower.
bear.
Yeah, it's
Radiant structures are fortified.
fortification. Well, that's okay. On delayed, but it will still go down. Lucian's helping out as well from the Manta South from Jackal. Hook shot in, gets the cogs up on the bear, and Max Dexter goes down so fast. Eclipse being casted as well. There's an RP. Wepas with his heart looks to be going down so fast. This time, no help. This time, not getting only a 33 HP. This time he goes down together with the rest of his team. And that is the GG call. That is the first game of StarLadder Season 6. Day 8 is the first game of QPAD for today. They'll have 2 more games though. iCCup has another game later today as well. But first, we're gonna jump ourselves into QPAD Red Pandas taking on Z-Rage. That is Sharpix team. For people that are unaware of that one. But strong showing. Surprisingly, despite three stand-ins, basically.
Yeah, no, QPAD, I mean, they looked really good. Good movements around the map. They intercepted the Ancients, you know, they made that not free golden experience for iCCup. They had that window, unfortunately, I think the bear just got a little bit too much space and Wepas not able to, he had so much farm, but it was the bear nullifying it for the majority of the mid game, and then it was RP and Hex, filling in all of the gaps. So it was so difficult for a hero like Alchemist to do anything, and it kind of speaks to why we see heroes with a lot of mobility and a lot of ways to just prevent being locked down as being popular in the metagame, just because Alchemist is not one of them.
Very true. And of course, I am Sheever. If you want to follow me, you can do so on twitter.com/SheeverGaming. My co-caster for today or for these 2 games rather, is Basskip. You can follow him on twitter.com/Basskip, the way you write it. And you'll be seeing us again in the next game. QPAD Red Pandas taking on Z-Rage, so stick around. More games coming up, and I don't think we have that much of downtime because next game should already be up and running very soon. So stick around. More Dota 2 coming up.
Season 6 of the legendary StarLadder TV series. 16 top European teams. 120 season matches plus an epic LAN final voiced by your favorite shoutcasters. Watch the StarLadder TV matches using your Dota 2 client. Get an exclusive StarLadder HUD. Tickets on sale now.